English to as a message for all of you. So, well, why not start the presentation regarding learning of ethics and critical thinking, a class given by students for students. So, this is okay. This is a very huge number of authors in this paper. So, Annabella, Vinicius, I think he's not here as well, and myself, we are the three teachers. And then a group of 12 students, or two groups of students. One group of students developed the topics ethics, and the other the topic regarding critical thinking. So we're going to talk about and show you the story of this our experience. So the context, what is ethics and critical thinking, the methods that we use, results and discussion, and final remarks. So a little bit of the context, so we have not so much time. So we try to use these three main ideas to build the workforce of the future. We need to revolutionize how we learn, peer-to-peer network to pass from a passive teaching to an active learning, and learning with others, and hands-on activity as a ground on transformative learning theory that is considered a model for adult learning. So, taking into account all this idea, we developed a new and elective curriculum unit that we call Preparing Generations Z Beyond Technology. We call ZTech. So this is elective. Okay, so I'm going to change a little bit the order. So ZTech. Okay, ZTech is, as I said, an elective curriculum unit. The first time that this curriculum unit worked was the previous academic year. So this academic year is the second year. And as a second year, we changed a little bit the way we teach all these topics. So it's not static, it's, I say, dynamic. Okay? This is a curriculum unit that was designed based in the invitation of the School of Engineering. But this curriculum unit is for all students of the University of Minho and not only for students of engineering. In the first semester, this curriculum unit is here in Guimarães to all students from engineering. And in the second semester, it's in the other campus, in Braga, to all the other engineering students. Some also were from engineering because you have 3 or 4 courses in engineering, but most of the students are from the other areas of the university, like economic management, language, marketing, oriental studies, law, criminology, criminal finance, sorry. So it's very interesting how we teach the same topics, but as the difference that we have because the students are different from different backgrounds. But to make sure you try to recognize the importance of the career preparation and the skills needed for this preparation, to identify and critically apply tools to allow that to objectively analyze and decide the professional future, to integrate enhancing strategies as a starting point for career management, and to recognize such strategies as facilitators for personal, professional, and social success. So we try to help students in this interface between the end of the school or the university and now the next what to do when you go to the professional environment. We try to work different topics, but these topics are open. We also in the first class ask students to bring new topics that they want to talk about and discuss. And but in the middle between we give some talks, we invited talks. So usually we don't give classes, we invited people from professional backgrounds or other topics that we invited and they give the class. The other class are students that prepare some during the semester, and then they discuss and present their ideas. At the end of the assessment, so the most part is regarding the student teamwork, and then the participation of the students in the activities in the classroom through the semester, and then a self-reflection work, like peer assessment, students assessment the other students. And this is a very tricky subject, but what like. So, the topics that we suggest to the students: critical thinking, problem solving, teamwork, communication and negotiation, analytical, ethics, intercultural, creativity, inventor culture. And because why? Because we consider that our vital skills to achieve a success to lifelong learning key competencies. This year, of this experience that I'm going to present you, the two groups of students in the first semester, they choose critical thinking and ethics. And we think that is the main topics to be here and to explain you our experience. So let's present our two groups. So the first group we call group 3. So we have 6 groups, but here we are going to present the results of 2 groups. And group 3, there are 6 members of 3 different courses. 3 for 4 years of integrated master students of architecture that we have here in this school, in this campus. 2 female and 1 man. And 1 student from first undergraduate female student from mechanical engineering, and 2 from the second year undergraduate female student from industrial engineering and management. And the second group, we call here from group 5, also 6 members, for 3 different courses. 3 second years undergraduate female students of industrial engineering and management, and 1 from the 5th year of the integrated master, the female student in informatics system engineering and management, and the other 2 members from the second year of undergraduate male students of industrial electronic and computer engineering. The group 3, they choose the group to talk about work ethics, and the group 5 regarding critical thinking. So what I'm going to describe here is all work developed by students. Okay, we are teachers, we were only the supervisors. Okay, so the group, they choose this topic, and they decided to define SME structured interview to a group of 14 employees from various sectors and age. They defined 6 questions. That the question were: what do you understand by work ethics? Have you ever witnessed any unfair situation in your work environment? What does work mean to you? What difficulties did you have getting your job? Are you satisfied with the socioeconomic situation in which you find yourself? And if a higher position asks to do something against your values, what will be your approach? Okay. So summarizing the results, work ethics consists of a set of standards, rules and values that should be followed by the worker. 80% have witnessed an unfair situation in the work environment. What does work mean to you? The people purpose, stability, motivation, needs, support, and from learning predisposition. And 50% mentioned that no difficulty to find a job. However, 36 identify some difficulties, and why they, if they are satisfied with socio-economic depends according to the status or the position they have in the worker, and sometimes if yes, in fact sometimes you have to go against your own thinking, safeguarding the fact that you never put anyone's life at risk. So sometimes this topic is very specific. Regarding the critical thinking, the students thinking about to interview 2 different groups. One with the youngest people and the other with very elder people. to think, to understand how the people think about critical thinking, how they think about it. It's interesting to observe that young generation to answer more quickly and sometimes incorrect. And in the opposite side, the other people will took a little longer but answer more often correctly. So young generation be very I can say teaching, learning a lot regarding this. Young people, and then also they use two different can I say headlines. RTP is a Portuguese and open television and the news, and the private one, CMTV, to investigate the main influence of this source of information. And younger people must trust FTP. This was strange for me when I saw this results. And then in contrast, the other people prefer to see MTV. Why? Because more dramatic and brought more novelty. So people, other people think to have more news, more sensational news, I don't know. The other people tend to ignore MTV news because they feel that was that. And one thing interesting, because this group, sorry, I'm going to rush. This group tried to define by themselves a new, not a new, but a definition about critical thinking. So based on their own words, critical thinking depends on a multitude of factors, be they educational, generational, gender, social, economic. That is, all critical thinking depends on who we are, where and how we are brought up, the experience and learning that one has obtained throughout life, the social and economic environment in which we are involved, the generation in which we grow up. So I think I'm going to finish because this is probably the most important topic regarding the students. When they are motivated, we receive very important information. And most of all, they answer to our challenge. So thank you very much. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Selena. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we have a deadline for us. So, question and answers. Who want to make a question? No questions? Yes, please.
Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation and for such an interesting topic. What do you, in the last slide, you put something like students think that it depends on the environment that they grew up in. Something like that. It's okay. I think it was something like this. So that the environment really was an influence, so that the kind of competencies that they have when they are adult, let's say.
Yes.
What do you think it should be done in by educational policies at the younger ages related to this kind of competence, like critical thinking, creative thinking, all that kind of competence that nowadays are included in the profile of the students, so that educational policy nowadays include that in the profile of the students. But if you look at the schools, at the schools that our students grew up nowadays, they are still too much centered in the teacher instead of centered in the students. What can we do so that we could raise students?
Good question. I think I do myself that question every year or every new semester. Regarding my experience and also my knowledge, my scientific knowledge and the class that I do, the students believe or give much importance from the outside, not to the teacher, in my study. So, why? Because they miss good classes. So if I try to give my message, they are not in classroom, my nature is not to see my nature. And then in the final semester, we see the final marks. The final marks are like. So I try every time to, because the students, they have a lot of information outside. They have a lot of information because of all they are online. But not all they are online is true. They are fake news. Okay? So I think our work is try to remember, to have the selection. Okay, to critical thinking, to think about what they receive, what they hear.
But I understood that is in the low levels,
Yes,
not in the
if I
high.
can share my opinion, I think that the young adults that we have nowadays at university, they grew up thinking, not thinking. The system that they were, the system that they grew up in a system that were focused on evaluation, not on the process.
Yeah,
we need to understand. Okay, then in the light
You know, we need the process, not the evaluation. And they are focused on the evaluation and on the marks that they need to have to enter the university. So they are used to think like that. And they forget the process. I think that may be also the problem.
Yeah, now I understand your question. Sorry.
yeah, but just to conclude, because we have to move forward to the following presentation. Today, I think we have some pedagogical models that are emerging in various cities and so on. So I think I believe that the things will change, but not, of course, not in a short period. In a short term. It will take too long, because I know some of these pedagogical models in some schools. So I think we'll go forward to the.
We have to talk on the coffee break.
Yeah, we will talk in the lunchtime.
Because I come from the
So,
University
yes.
of Porto, and we have a lot of experience also in these matters, and we have to exchange our experiences in order to produce a most fine working strategy.
Yes, it's true.
Okay,
Because
we'll have
last year was the first time that I did classes to the first year of the student from engineering. And then for me it was a challenge. Because students are like that.
Okay, thank you, Selena. Sarah is not here yet, I think. Okay, Sarah is not here yet, so we'll move on to the next presenter. That is Armando. So that will present us the third station, okay? Okay. And now, okay, so, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much. So my name is Armando Souza, and although I am a robotics engineer and intelligent robotics and some fancy stuff, I'm here to talk to you about my passion, which is education. And right now, I want to talk to you about the need to include ethics education in engineering courses. Shouldn't it be obvious? Okay, so let's delve into the idea that what have we done so far, and to what extent are we doing as much as we can. Okay, so as a sense of introduction and context, we know what engineers do, and we have to get our minds into the idea that engineers collaboratively shape the economy, and in that sense, they also shape society itself. So engineering is pretty complex. It has multiple views, and most likely people turn to engineering to solve problems and to ease the burden everyday life. And upon to a point, and this is even the definition of the word engineering itself, what we do, what we engineers do, is we get natural resources and we transform it into things that have added value for the society. This means that we are actually transforming resources, and up to a given point, we are depleting these resources, and the way that we do that, both we as engineers and we as a society, generate a given point of sustainability, or if we do the wrong things, we compromise our future and generate unsustainability. Okay, consequences is that we are facing new risks every day and we are facing new challenges. Okay, so one of the main things that is mind-boggling, that is confusing, is that we don't teach our future engineers to anticipate, to make room for the challenges that we are about to solve. Meaning, we should really take into consideration our future. Okay, the thing is, engineering up until now pretty much has not taken responsibility of the technological creation and the technological solutions that will shape the society of tomorrow and of mankind itself. Okay, so fact, in Portugal, ethical education is pretty much explicitly absent. And this is strange. It should not be so. How can it be so? It has been something that we strive in this community to change every day, which is education sometimes runs behind. It should not be the case. We have a lot of work, but we have to keep side by side the technical track and the education track. And heck, it should be even the other way around. Education should be ahead. We are not really in time to fall asleep. And actually, the excuse for not having an explicit course is that it is not on the syllabus, which is actively wrong because the syllabus was created by ourselves. Mind-blowing. Okay, so actually what everything is said is we need to study ethics and the implementation of ethics and the several facets of ethics that are involved. So we have here some kind of research question. What are the main reasons to include ethical education in the engineering courses? And some, let's call it objectives, although these are sequence of parts. So we are trying to find the current roles of engineering for today's society, for today's technical trends, identify the future of engineering, and at the end, hopefully, and I hope that you will agree with me, will be advocating the explicit inclusion of ethics in engineering courses. So what did we do? We just went to a search engine, a curated search engine, and we delved into some research, and we did this formally. So we found the keywords, we searched the headlines, we searched the abstracts, and we searched the body. We searched all kinds of documents given from conferences, journals, books, and a number of electronic platforms. And at this point, it became clear, and it's been explained throughout the document, that ethics is in fact important and necessary for engineering courses. Because, again, engineering shaped the historical evolution And in that sense, it will continue to do so, even at a higher pace. I mean, can we forget our cell phone? One of these days, there are going to be a lot of trouble when generative AI begins to give the headlines. Okay? Complicated stuff ahead of us. And we need to be ready. And most of all, we need to make our students ready for what's to come. And this is, we can't fall asleep. This is happening right now. So we have to give students a sense that everything they do will impact their life, starting now, but also the future of mankind, including the relationship between engineering, society, resources, whatever. And this has to be dealt explicitly because up until now, electrical engineers, an example, tended to see that I just did my job, okay? Take France up to a few days ago, it's still going on. People communicate where they are going to attack next, okay? And they do this by, of course, cell phone communication and social media. And we have to think about the consequences, and we have to be awake so that we minimize the risks and we put our students into a state of critical thinking. Okay, so what did we find from our results? Clearly it was engineering that influenced many types of areas of knowledges, high impact on contemporary society. Some authors still have the perception that their impact is small, but this is changing over time. Currently, each individual society as a whole must accept its dependency on engineering, and engineers have to be aware on the power that they carry over their shoulders. Okay, so engineering evolution is in fact shaping and hopefully as little as possible, limiting the future. The ethical dimension of engineering is based on things that are pretty basic, which are, of course, values, so that they develop things that are good or bad for engineering, and it is necessary to teach people so that they are aware of the consequences. Take the history of the atomic bomb, many other interesting historical facts. Okay, so the results also show that the roles of engineering include production of goods in all their shapes, trading and gathering information, but it is quite clear that it is for the benefit of human beings, for the good of humanity, and things like that. So we cannot escape, we cannot evade the ethical issues at stake. So ethics becomes fundamental. Engineering promised to lighten the human workload, but even if it is successful, we have to keep our minds open and our eyes open. In conclusion, I would just like to say that during the reading of this article, you will get a better understanding and justification based on many authors that elucidate the main queries for ethical education and how to do it and why it should be explicit and why it is important for engineering. Hopefully it will be interesting for the next generation of curriculums to be defined and for people that are involved in education in ethical areas. Let me be just a little bit technical. We are nearing the edge of a new revolution, which is AI, generative AI, machine learning, and there are a lot of risks. No sense in denying, but we need to keep our eyes open. We are doing a lot of mineral extraction. We are nearing depletion of a lot of things. We have to keep our students um, adequately um, adequately formed and aware of the consequences. We really have to, it is important and necessary to include explicit education in engineering courses. Okay, so this is my presentation for you. I leave to you just a word cloud that I got from the internet. There are a lot of issues that you can find interesting, including the many types of ethical implications that you have, and hopefully all of us, we will be able to advocate that ethical education is necessary for our students, for our engineering students. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, please?
Yeah, so my name is Tim Berber. I'm from Technical University in Berlin, and I'm here with Cispee. And I wanted to make a kind of a comment. And does any one of you know blue engineering? So, blue engineering is a course developed at our university in the year 2009, and it aims exactly at this question to create a course to understand about the ethics, the responsibilities of an engineer. And the course was formed by students who are also working at universities, like me. And the course was developed to kind of share it also with other universities, and it got great response at our university. We have courses in German and English, just to make it as accessible as possible. And we helped also many other universities in Germany to set up the course, and it's a seminar led by students, kind of, and there are just a few lectures, there are guest lectures by people from the industry or other engineering courses. Also, like, there are universities in the Netherlands that have adopted this idea, and I think the aim of the course in general is not to just keep it focused on our universities, but to expand it. And I think there's a lot of things, a lot of good things. I also partook this course like last year, that can be found on their website. And like, if anyone is interested in adopting the idea, or you can also reach out to the organizers, because they are very communicative, because their aim is to like widen their network and get involved with other universities. And I think if anyone of you haven't like never heard of it, I think that's a great starting point, and it's a really good course also. So yeah, I just put this program here.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question, a comment to talk about.
I do not know if you want to comment.
No, I have actually browsed over there, but I didn't delve into it, and I will look it even deeply into it. Thank you. Thank you for your comment. Thank you.
I would like to hear some of your opinion and your opinion about what do you think that it's more effective, to have a specific course on it, or to talk about it in the other courses? So include it in the syllabus of the courses, and in that context the teacher talks about the ethics in that context, and then it's like, it's more natural, I don't know, but I recognize that this very highlighted the importance to have just a course on it, but
Both.
Are you good?
But would you like to comment?
I think, yeah, kind of also both, but like in the engineering courses, I'm just thinking of like every course where you have to, like construction courses, there are like so many factors, and like we're only highlighting like economic factors in it, and I think like there's almost like no real space for the ethics in this course, because it's also always so full. And like blue engineering isn't a mandatory course, like you can take it and you
choose.
get credit for it. But yeah, I think actually both, but I feel like blue engineering is a really good course for it, and like if you have everything condensed in like one course, it's kind of useful because the knowledge you can use on every other course. You don't need to, you don't need every course to kind of talk about the same.
The challenge is to find the most suitable order for the factors, but it should be both.
Yes, please.
I'm Jur from West, another student of you, and actually want to give a comment already, but I think it fits your question as well. I'm from Delft University in technology in the Netherlands, and with us, I think every master curriculum already includes a mandatory ethics course. I'm pretty sure it's based on what Berlin did. But what I find very interesting is that because it is a mandatory course at a university, only 2 credits, a lot of students also see it as this mandatory subject they need to take and are not particularly interested in the theory behind a certain Socrates or philosopher methodology. But instead, we also have a very practical and design-focused curriculum. For example, our bachelor thesis is a 10-month-long design study in a group of 10 people, which goes a lot further than only technical design, but also stakeholder analysis. And through those design projects, the ethics immediately find its way in there, because you need to think about the applicability and implementation. And I personally have seen it also around me, find that a lot more interesting and impactful than just the theory behind a certain philosophy. Yeah.
Okay, I think we'll have a productive lunch. No, because we have to move forward to the last of the list presented, because I don't think that Sarah can, because she is not here. The staff will try to find her, but meanwhile we have to continue, otherwise we will be late. Thank you, Armando. Thank you.
Just an additional second to thank my co-author, Fasma Lopez, she's over there, and she has been a pleasure to work with. Thank you.
Thank you. Albert, will be the presenter.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having us here. I'm Robert Valente from the University of Aveiro, and I'm representing a big group of professors, researchers, students, and the names that you see here are those related to the courses, engineering courses that I will talk about. I added a subtitle in the presentation. It's about the Start for Future program at the University of Aveiro, which is I will try to show you how this works. This is a more structured approach to including challenges into curricular units and courses of engineering, so kind of top-down approach in our case. So I would start with the context. This context is completely related to a project coordinated by Barbara Gabriel over there. The first cohort, the first call of the EITA initiative, extending from European Institute of Innovation and Technology, who presented a call for proposals, project proposals, intending to provide more innovative, more entrepreneurial institutions, higher education institutions in this case. So the project is finishing now at this point, and some of the indicators that I will show you are directly related to the day-by-day basis of engineering, mechanical engineering course, and particularly the students. So, starting with the project itself, the idea of Tandem Plus, that is the name of the project, is to unleash all the potential that they have in higher education institutions. Particularly, I just took some of the core goals of the project, improving the networking of between different higher education institutions and the regional ecosystems where the institutions belong, to support talents in entrepreneurial activities to provide visibility to these talents. And here talents stand for students in this case. Also professors, academic and non-academic staff, but in this presentation, students particularly. The project also provides the possibility of training and mentoring involving educators, researchers, as I said, non-academic staff and students. And there is also a focus on the creation of micro-credentials, particularly for students at this point, in order students can have a more flexible curriculum, more innovative curriculum itself. And doing so, we are promoting collaboration, internal collaboration, entrepreneurship, and the changes of mindset. What happens after that was that we took two different projects from the same call from EIT, the Tandem Plus that I mentioned, and the UXL project, and other projects that were already ongoing at European level, and this Start for Future network was created. Combining different projects with different goals, but with one main guideline: entrepreneurial mindset, entrepreneurial attitudes, innovation, and presenting the possibility for students to move and to go far beyond their conventional curriculum. So, what happened at the University of Aveiro, that we particularly focus what happened in the first semester of this curricular year, because the project started long ago. We, particularly from the period of October to December 2022, involving two departments, the Department of Mechanical Engineering and also the Department of Environment. I will focus more on the mechanical engineering side. We took two main courses, or mandatory courses, from the program of mechanical engineering. The first one is the Introduction to Mechanical Engineering, focusing on first-year students, bachelor students. And the second course on Project in Product Development, mandatory course for first-year master students of mechanical engineering. Within these two courses, students were organized in groups ranging from 3 to 5 elements, and the Start for Future Learn program, the name is the Learn, the focus here is the Learn, included 7.5 online synchronous sessions with other international teams. So each team from University of Aveiro, from our department, first-year bachelor students, first-year master students, were combined with different teams from other institutions that were present in the other consortiums that integrate this network, Start for Future network. But also we involved also partners from industry, from EIT itself, in order to provide mentoring and some kind of a supervision, unsupervised supervision of the students involved. I'm not explaining, not yet, what is the Learn is. I do not explain not yet what the students are meant to do, but what students can benefit from the program. First of all, in starting from the bottom in the right, a certificate from EIT, a certificate from a recognized European institution from the European Commission. We also have some rewards for the best groups, involved. Direct contact with industry experts and experts from EIT and experts from other universities involved in all these projects that provide the Start for Future network. And from each team has a direct contact with a tandem team in another institution. So, what are let's say, the homework for the students? The program between October and December was accounted for 5 different areas, which are exactly the strategic areas of the European Institute of Innovation and Technology. So manufacturing, mobility, circular economy, food and health. As you all know, mechanical engineering covers all of this, and more. So we are very lucky on having this program with us and our students. But particularly our students were more engaged in the areas of manufacturing, mobility, health for this edition. So what was the roles of the students? The students, as I said, were organized in groups. Each group must choose one of the thematic areas from the EIT strategic areas: manufacturing, mobility, circular economy, food and health. By the way, the last edition that just finished last month also included the energy area, so not 5 areas but 6. And each group of students would choose for the thematic area that they prefer. Each group of students would choose a challenge to solve. A challenge that can make impact in their region, in their community, in their neighborhood, in their country. So the preferred topics from the students of first year, bachelor students, first year master students were the one that I had, those that I highlighted there: manufacturing, mobility, and health. And we started this program with each student's group thinking about a problem. And we are very good in identifying problems, open problems. We are not so good in providing solutions, not at the first stage, but we are very good in providing problems. So the idea of the Start for Future Learn program is to, starting with students that identify a strategic thematic area and a problem to be solved. Now we will work during 3 months in a solution, with the help of other teams from other universities, with the help of EIT experts, industry experts from different countries in Europe. So this is the process. As a colleague just mentioned in the beginning, the focus here is the process. So, for instance, in the first semester, we started in October, each group with the thematic area, with the open problem, no idea about the solution for the problem, but now we start with these synchronous sessions, and as time passes, the path is the goal, the process is the goal, and the idea of the program is to increase the competencies and skills of the students, make the students believe that their knowledge of engineering, mechanical engineering, can be useful in providing some idea of solution. When they arrive at the end of the program in December 12 in this case, 2022, they now have some idea for a solution with a TRL law, a concept, a process, a product, something more clear than in the beginning. And in the way in between these two points, students could create and develop themselves in direct connection with the professors at the university. The projects that they choose here could be applied and could be used in the courses that I mentioned. So everything is connected to the regular curriculum of an engineering student, bachelor or master. The numbers, just to finish, I have 1 minute for wrap up. So for the first year bachelor students, 31 students involved, roughly 28% of the total number of students that were welcomed in the mechanical engineering department this year. For the master students group, 40 students involved, more or less 42% of those enrolled. This is a voluntary program, extracurricular program, completely parallel to the classes. As a whole, the total Start for Future Learn program involved 285 students at different institutions, 25 institutions at European level, and plus 40 academic and non-academic staff that were also mentored and participated in the program. In the end of the program, in the December 12th, a prize was given to the best challenges and the best ideas of solutions, all combined, and we are really proud to say that from the 5 prizes, we got the 3 best ones for manufacturing, for mobility, and for health. These are industrial problems for the Easy Paint Students Group. The Bicycle Innovators Group tackled the challenge of mobility in Aveiro and how to properly store your bicycles. And the Mechanical Care Students Group in the health area, provided aided supports for patients at the hospital, not the hospital, but house setup. The outcomes, now for finishing, this is only a step of a much more longer process. The phase one that we call the learn is this process dedicated to students, and the students that come to the end with the idea of a process, product, some solution, they are invited to participate in the first phase 2 and phase 3. The phase 2 is now, let's take your project idea, your solution, your application, your product, and now let's try to make it more concrete, involving incubators, involving business angels, creating the idea of a potential idea of business, and if they want to proceed to the phase 3, they can incubate in another country. One of the things that I mentioned before, the one related to health, incubated in Spain, in Barcelona, and now is moving to Canada, if I'm not wrong. So, the second outcome, we took this, the process, and we created the first international online micro-credential of University of Aveiro. So each student that participates voluntarily in the Start for Future program, just for the sake of the certificate and the experience, they can also be involved in a micro-credential recognized by the University of Aveiro. We made the first pilot just with the students from the University of Aveiro, but the second edition of this micro-credential in October will be open to all the students in the network. So we can have 200 plus students that can join this micro-credential at the European level at the University of Aveiro, receiving 2 ECTS that they can use for their path, academic path. Here is the micro-credential appeared in the website of the University of Aveiro, coordinated by Barbara once again. And now, finishing, we are really glad to announce that we had a continuation of this program, of this funding, with a new project from the third cohort of EIT, now focusing on deep tech for one side, so mechanical engineering, chemistry, engineering, doctoral school, companies, and also focusing on the creation of micro-credentials for PhD students at the third cycle level. So I hope next conference we will present more data on this, and I would like to thank you very much, sorry for the time, and I open it to questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Not only for the presentation, but for the achievements of the
Thank you very much.
Question and answer.
Okay, what you presented is a contest of ideas, right? How do you guarantee intellectual property? Because ideas are not for public presentation. Solutions are for public presentation. Ideas are not. And on my university, we also have something like that. And I tell my students, if you have a stupid idea, go there. Otherwise, be quiet, don't tell anyone. Because you never tell a good idea. And this is a trap to ask people to get good ideas, to present for business entities. Because you have no guarantee at all. They will not develop by themselves and don't have any care with your intellectuals. How do you guarantee that you're not just giving the ideas for free?
Yes, a good question. In the end of this program, the Learn program, only the conceptual ideas are achieved. And I just mentioned the 3 best groups from 285 students. At this point, the students and ourselves, we are not so worried about the intellectual property. It's a calculated risk. It's a calculated risk. For the next 2 phases, then we start to make things more concrete, more clear. And then, in the phase 2, Met and Start, and the phase 3, Develop and Co-create, the students in the students group have a support from incubators and from different universities. And then we start to make protocols for that. So step by step, we achieve, if the students want to evolve in these next 2 phases, we are focusing on business consolidation and business protection, but not in the first phase. But you know what, in particular for our first year students of the bachelor degrees, students are very happy with taking risks. They just want an opportunity to do this.
It's not different a risk. It's to give the ideas to everyone, and
they don't worry.
I go there. And, yeah, they don't worry because they don't understand.
They don't worry about that. And if we are talking about, for instance, first year bachelor degrees, they have still 2 more years ahead of them, or 4 more years if they go to the master. Okay, they will have time to make this mature, but they can also proceed on the spot to the second phase and the third phase. But for the first phase, they are not so concerned about that, and our proposal is to focus on the process of creation and making them believe that even a first year student of mechanical engineering courses, and you know, in the first year, they don't have mechanical engineering subjects, mathematics, physics, chemistry. They think, what I'm doing here? I'm enrolled in the mechanical engineering course, I don't see mechanical engineering anywhere. No, you can do something. You have the mindset, first of all, of an engineer, so you can create some ideas. Of course, they are not ready for the market. That's why it's a calculated risk, but they are mature enough to proceed to the next phases. And then this part is taken into account.
I think the concern here is they have these ideas and they give to the ideas.
It's like believing on Santa Claus.
But of course we are trying to
Sometimes
allow
it's good to
students
do it, at least in
have
the
a
initial
negative
stage.
learning, so yeah, we do. Now just to finish, Sebastian, just the last.
I have a question and a thought. Well, a question is more related with my own experience, because I also teach product design and I also teach entrepreneurship, and we have a lot of students making the curriculum unit of entrepreneurship. And then we have also at the Polytechnic Institute at the top, we have a challenge which is ACE challenge. They have a prize, a monetary prize, which is a good prize. And we have some difficulties in involving students to volunteer, go to the contest. We have a lot of students making the units, and we have the number of students that will go to the contest, in my opinion, is too reduced compared with the number of students that make the. My question is, how do you do to involve the students and make them voluntarily went to that, in that case, I have to recognize that you do a good job. The second question, but it is also a thought, I think that what I could see, you have mechanical and the health and the topics that students select. And I saw at the middle the circular economy. And I thought, why they did not choose circular economy, the first question, and the thought is, why circular economy is not mandatory in health, in food, and in, because circular economy is everything.
That's right. You can, yeah, sure. Starting from the end, the experience that we had in this round in the last semester, 285 students, when they don't know exactly what they want to tackle, they choose circular economy because it's broader, and now perhaps energy is also broader, but all these 5 pillars from EIT are connected. I can provide a solution. In my case, I'm more related to manufacturing, dedicated to the mobility area that can help well-being in the health area, and all of this being sustainable as a way of circular economy. So these are interconnected, and it's not rare. The students in the beginning are very worried about, okay, but what should I choose? Okay, choose one, and then we start, because the process is important. And in the process, they will communicate with 285 more students in different areas, and they can start to exchange ideas. And that's why they also can arrive in the end with a solution that to a different area or a completely new setup, unexpected from the beginning. How can we convince them? Okay, first of all, we must convince ourselves. So the role of the professors and the teachers involved is crucial. I was myself involved in the classes. One of these weeks on Gil is over there, also involved in the project, in the product design classes. And we have, okay, this starts in October. In the first session that we have at the University of Aveiro, in the beginning of September, of welcoming new students, we present this program. And be aware, University of Aveiro has something that's unique at national level. You will be involved and expect for more. So it's like we are talking about the engineer education conference. The role of the educators is crucial.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I hope it
Yeah,
helps.
Thank you so much.
We're going to schedule after lunch. We're going to lunch now. At 1:30 we'll be here with the workshop because it's so late then for having lunch in our canteen with a lot of people. And it is not that it is special. And we are going to be all together and we are going to speak about all the discussion, all the papers that we presented. It was very interesting. But at lunch, at 1:30 we are here, okay? Thank you.
I also wanted to ask him.
Olha, você pode travar essa porta daí. Já
Come on.